Chess is a game that's more than 1,500 years old and is played by over 600 million people worldwide, yet it has never been more popular than it is today. Chess first appeared in India in the 6th century and is believed to have evolved from a game called Chaturanga, an ancient Indian strategy game. As chess spread across Europe, it was adopted by noblemen and royalty, who played to demonstrate intellect and strategy skills. The game as we know it evolved around the 16th century and continued to grow, with standardization and universal acceptance happening around the 19th century. To dive a little deeper into how the game has changed, I interviewed international master Matthew Wadsworth. Thank you. So if you just start with your name and what you do.
Sure, yeah. So my name's Matthew Wadsworth. I'm a chess player. I'm an international master, which is one of the highest ranks within chess. I've been playing most of my life, and I'd like to talk about it a little bit now.
Yeah, so I just want to start with, how does somebody become an international master?
Mm-hmm.
How long does it take for someone?
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, how do you become an international master?
No, that's a good question. So the way chess generally works is there are different ranks that you can and qualifications that you can reach that level, and then it's a sort of pyramid of you work from one title to the next.
Right. Yeah.
So the top one, which most people will have heard of, is Grandmaster.
Yeah.
Which all of the top players have achieved at some point or another, and then the titles work downwards. So International Master is like the next step down. Then there's FIDE Master, FIDE being the World Chess Federation, kind of like FIFA, but for chess. And the titles go down, so you sort of work from one level up to the next. In terms of how long it takes, it wildly varies from person to person.
Yeah.
Some people, like the youngest people to make Grandmaster, have been sort of 12 or 13. On the other hand, people have reached it sort of in their 40s or even 50s. So very very much varies from person to person.
Yeah, it's amazing. And how old were you when you started playing?
So I learned to play when I was sort of around my 5th birthday. We had in our house we had a coffee table that had a sort of chessboard set into it. So sort of curiosity / being an annoying kid, asking a lot of questions. My dad, who sort of played quite a bit when he was a kid, taught me the moves. We sort of started playing each other quite a lot. And then soon after that I went to the local club, which is in Maidenhead, which has a very good system. Started playing tournaments, and it all kind of came from there.
Yeah, that's amazing. So do you have any sort of favourite players when you were growing up? Anyone that maybe inspired you, or inspired the way you play today?
So I mean the top player sort of when I was learning, sort of the Kasparov he had just retired, but he was still sort of the best player in the world. His games being a lot of fun to play through, and sort of definitely something to take inspiration from. More recently, I think sort of the rise of Carlsen over the last decade or so. It's very hard not to be inspired by him in terms of both his results and the way he plays.
Yeah,
so.
It's incredible. Magnus Carlsen is a Norwegian chess prodigy turned legend, becoming a Grandmaster at just age 13 and reigning as world champion since 2013. He holds the highest ELO rating ever, 2,882. He has defended his title multiple times. Carlsen's dominance extends to multiple formats, earning him numerous world titles. And his strategic brilliance and relentless pursuit of excellence makes him a living legend in the world of chess. Another thing I want to talk about was sort of the stereotypes that surround chess, that you have to be quote unquote smart, or it's a nerdy game. Do you think these are true? Or do you think...
So the stereotype, I mean, it's one of the sort of the enduring tropes within, I think, media, at least how it deals with chess being a sort of sign of great intellect, or this sort of slightly nerdy thing. I think like a lot of those things, there's probably a grain of truth within it, but it's blown a lot out of proportion. There are definitely some things to be good at chess that you probably need in terms of sort of having a very good memory or sort of pattern recognition, those sorts of things. At the same time, by playing chess, it's very easy to develop those skills. So I don't think it's that sort of being smart necessarily makes you fantastic at chess, or being fantastic at chess necessarily makes you very smart.
Yeah. Why do you think they exist? Do you think it's just because past players have tended
I
to
think
be smart?
I think to some extent perhaps, and also it's quite a sort of an easy stand-in if you want to sort of make a character seem intelligent quickly. You can show a chessboard or something, and it's a fairly quick and easy way to do that, I guess.
Yeah. Okay. And do you think? I think the sort of the rise of the modern show, The Queen's Gambit, and streamers and YouTubers like Hikaru or Gotham Chess are sort of helping to get rid of these stereotypes.
Absolutely, and sort of making chess seem more certainly more mainstream and kind of more cool.
Definitely.
The show The Queen's Gambit is undeniably responsible for a major boost in chess's success. With over 62 million households tuning in, it's no surprise that after the series, the sale of chess sets and chess accessories rose by nearly 215%. And the gaming platform Chess.com received 2.8 million new members just 1 month after the show's release. And they continued to gain 1 million members a month.
Chess has always been sort of niche to some extent, with like rare events sort of putting it in the public consciousness. There's sort of a couple famous, so in sort of one of the famous World Championship matches of sort of Fischer against Spassky in 1972, which you might have read about, was sort of this East versus West, right at the height of the Cold War, and sort of massive public event. What we're sort of seeing now, I think, certainly since COVID and the Queen's Gambit and the rise of the streamers, I think it's a much more sustained interest within chess. I'm not sure sort of what was the initial starting point of it. Perhaps it was everyone having a lot more time on their hands during the lockdowns. But I mean, it's obviously a massive positive for the game, and I'm sort of looking forward to where it'll head next.
Yeah. Did you notice like a massive rise after the Queen's Gambit?
Not massively. I think sort of my friends at university were all sort of to some extent aware of it, but may certainly more so, I think, after watching the Queen's Gambit, which managed to be sort of, for A, a very good show, B, I think showed chess in certainly very accurate light, certainly more accurate than other times it's been shown in media, and a compelling story alongside that sort of. It's kind of the perfect storm of factors to sort of break out like that.
Do you think it sort of also became popular with Bobby Fischer, didn't it? And his end, he sort of ended the Russian domination, didn't he? So do you think the future of chess is sort of what he created might have to turn into Fischer Random? Do you think?
So it's a very pertinent question, especially with recent events. That at the very top, there's been concern that sort of top level classical chess is too boring. There are too many draws. It's all sort of worked out too much. And Fischer Random is this idea of still playing chess but taking away a lot of the preparation and the theoretical aspect.
Former world champion and legend of the game, Bobby Fischer, created Chess 960, or Fischer Random Chess, in response to the predictability of traditional chess and the dominance of opening theory. While randomizing the starting position, Fischer sought to promote creativity, intuition and strategic thinking, rather than relying on the memorization of a player. Chess 960 offers players a dynamic and original gameplay experience, challenging them to adapt and think critically while levelling the playing field.
I think there's definitely merits to it, but I think it's very unlikely it'll fully or even mostly replace sort of standard classical chess for a very long time. Just the candidates that has happened earlier this month, probably the most exciting candidates in living memory, despite being in the classical format, and you still manage to get very unbalanced games and interesting results. So I think the future of chess for the moment will still mainly be the standard formats.
And do you think maybe people like streamers and Hikaru have helped to sort of prolong it? Because I think now that it's streamed on YouTube and a whole new
viewer base is able to watch it, and the commentators, I think it's a bit more exciting than it maybe used to be.
I'd 100% agree. Yeah, that I've played sort of quite a few tournaments where sort of streamers have also been playing, and the way that you can sort of, that brings a different element to actually watching the games. Having a live feed and someone commentating on top of it, it brings a new dimension to sort of watching these tournaments, and the more viewers it can attract, the better for the health of the game.
Hikaru Nakamura's impact on chess is vast through his dynamic play and engaging presence on platforms like Twitch and YouTube. He's drawn in a diverse audience, both of seasoned players and newcomers. And with over 600 million views on YouTube, Nakamura's content has reached a wide audience, showcasing the excitement and interest in the game. Additionally, Nakamura's advocacy for the diversity and inclusion in chess has been significant, working to create opportunities for underrepresented groups. His efforts have not only popularised the game, but also inspired a global audience to appreciate its complexity and beauty. And do you think computers, well, because computers are obviously better than any human ever has been or will be, do you think they'll get close to maybe solving the game in many years?
Yeah, so the other sort of main point where chess entered the sort of public consciousness was 1997 with the Deep Blue match, which basically the point at which machines became clearly stronger than humans when a computer beat the world champion Kasparov over a match. Since then they've become just so much stronger that it's not even a fair fight. Like the engine would have to give sort of peace odds, so starting a knight down or something, and it would still probably beat maybe everyone except the very top players.
Computers have drastically changed chess. Powerful engines capable of precise analysis and global competition, these engines have revolutionised chess and strategic understanding. The sheer strength of modern computers underscores the evolving dynamic between human intellect and artificial intelligence, reshaping chess into a captivating blend of human ingenuity and computer power.
I think whether it solves the game is a much more open question. There are certain sort of simpler chess versions, so if any position with like 8 pieces or fewer has been fully solved, but the sort of the complexity you get from adding just one more piece to that, let alone starting with 32, it's I think I don't think there's the processing power that exists to properly solve it. But like as computers get stronger, they unearth new ideas, which then influences how humans play the game. Which has been very apparent the last few years actually.
Computers have changed sort of how the younger generation play chess, haven't they? Because they're able to know how to survive in the openings. They know maybe some openings that used to be dubious are actually fine. You can survive. So
exactly. Yeah.
Did you notice, or are you part of that generation? Do you think?
I think I was sort of. I'd say certainly everyone who started later than me is 100% part of it. I'm sort of still. A lot of, when I started, it wasn't chess playing engines was nowhere near as prominent, and certainly sort of playing online, and that aspect still existed, but wasn't to the same extent. The way engines have influenced play, that you can put any position on the board and get an instant evaluation of how good it is, whereas in previous generations, people having to analyse a position for hours. And still kind of not having any idea. That just makes such a big difference. And with opening play, as you said, otherwise sort of ideas seen as bad, engines being such strong defenders can make bad looking positions actually very playable, which has been a huge influence over recent play.
Do you think it's a good thing for chess? Because many older players sort of argue that it's, like Bobby did, that it's taken the creativity out of chess.
I'd actually 100% disagree with that. What engines sort of, certainly with AlphaZero and the rise of kind of neural network engines, given they're using machine learning, they haven't been actually programmed by humans. They've been given the rules and they've worked out ideas for themselves. That has created a lot of incredibly interesting games. So I think engines often have had a reputation of playing incredibly dry, uninteresting chess, which I think has kind of completely turned on its head the last few years. So engines, I'd say, enhance your sort of understanding and your enjoyment of chess rather than the other way around.
Yeah. So you think the future of chess, you think it will sort of just stay the same for many, many years to come?
I think the sort of the variance of it, certainly in terms of Fischer Random, will become more prominent.
Yeah.
Whether they'll actually overtake the sort of the standard variant, I'm not so sure.
Okay.
But it's an open question. I'm interested to see where it goes.
Talk maybe a little bit about your sort of like tournament life. How is that? Is it stressful?
So yeah, tournaments. There's a range of different formats, but you'll usually be sort of playing sort of nine or 10 games. Like some of them are only one game a day. Some of them you sort of playing 2 games a day. Sort of some with shorter time controls. You'll be playing several one after the other. There's this kind of routine that you get into in terms of preparing for your game, getting in terms of what your opponent's going to play, what lines you look at, then playing it, then sort of analysing it after to see what you did well, what could have gone better, and it's a very intense experience that you're kind of focusing potentially sort of 10-11 hours a day within chess, and then resetting and going again the next day. It can be quite tough.
Can imagine quite exhausting, yeah.
Studies show that top-level chess players can burn up to 6,000 calories during a tournament. This is just one of the many things that shows the immense physical and mental power that is required to become a professional player.
Quality of information out there, which has exploded over the last few years. That used to be you sort of had, if you wanted to learn an opening, you'd have to buy a book, work through it yourself, which will take ages. By the time you properly learnt it, the book will probably be out of date. Now the sort of you can look at opening courses online that you can work through very quickly, get updated in real time, and it's just much more possible nowadays to sort of pick up new opening ideas very quickly. Whereas I'd say it was still possible sort of 5-10 years ago, but it just required a lot more effort.
Yeah. So do you think the new generation of chess players, they'll be able to, well, they'll not only be better than current players, but they'll be able to play sort of 40 moves of theory maybe in the future?
Potentially. I mean, they already it's already possible to do that in certain positions. I don't know. I think at some point, the limits of theory won't be the strength or the quality of the information out there, but the limits upon human memory. Just in terms of not physically not being able to go that deep into certain lines. But I think as we go forward, as there's more information out there, as computers get stronger, opening play is only going to get better, but also sort of more varied, I think.
What are sort of your career aspirations from when you were a little kid to when you grew up? Did they change? Did they sort of always wanted to become an international master?
So my big goal is to try and get to Grandmaster, which I'm quite close to at the moment, sort of being one step away, and I've sort of made quite a lot of the progress from International Master to Grandmaster. So that was sort of definitely a goal of mine, sort of when I was starting out, and I feel like to get there, which I'm now within touching distance of, would be a great achievement. I'd be very proud of.
So how big is the step between International Master and Grandmaster?
I think it's probably the biggest single step to have to go through. That in terms of the work I've had to do in terms of changing my repertoire, improving kind of all areas of my play. That's been the biggest single step. But I think for anyone who's trying to improve it is on that journey. Like the most recent step is going to be the toughest one. That it just gets exponentially harder to improve as you get stronger.
And what advice would you give to someone that maybe wants to become an international master and they're a young chess player?
I think that the key thing is to enjoy it. That if you've got to have a sort of underlying passion for the game, that you're gonna want to practice, you want to put the hours in, and I think not putting too much pressure on yourself, but looking for the areas where you're having fun, you're enjoying yourself, and you're pushing yourself, because that's where you're gonna. It's very easy to sort of burn out and kind of put too many hours in.
Yeah.
If you get sort of hit with setbacks and things don't go your way, that's when things get really tough.
Yeah.
But if you're still really enjoying what you're doing, you'll be able to deal with setbacks and problems a lot more easily. And I think that's certainly what I've relied on through my career.
That's good. Do you have any favourite books that you've read?
I think I've sort of read quite a lot of them. I think there are a couple very formative ones. I think when I was growing up, in terms of sort of beginner books, I think How to Beat Your Dad at Chess was one of the first ones I read with a fairly clear goal in mind. But those sorts of ones are sort of showing sort of checkmating ideas, tactics, sort of famous tactical games. Those are the ones that sort of first made me interested in looking at chess a bit more seriously.
Yeah.
So those would be my
Yeah. Cool.
Benefits of chess for children are immense, and many argue it should be taught in schools for its cognitive benefits, fostering critical thinking, problem solving and strategic planning skills. It also promotes patience, concentration and sportsmanship, whilst transcending cultural barriers, making it an inclusive activity.
I like chess because it helps you do maths better, like coordinates, and it makes you concentrate more.
It's like really fun to play it, and it calms you down when you're in like an angry mood.
It like gets you ready and it puts you into the right mood for like doing lessons.
One of the lovely things about doing chess in the classroom is that children are learning through play, which makes it so much more fun. It doesn't feel like an ordinary lesson, it's something children look forward to. It helps them to learn how to concentrate, how to think a little bit strategically, think logically, and we hope that it turns them into more rounded and ultimately, of course, employable individuals.
Just get a board in pieces and learn how to play.
Just practice and see if you can do it.
Integrating chess into the curriculum offers students a stimulating way to develop vital life skills. But the problem with bringing chess into schools means you need to train the staff to a decent enough level to be able to teach chess, and then they will soon be faced with kids of a similar or even better level. So it is unlikely that we will see this added to curriculum anytime soon. Overall, as we look to the future of chess, it's evident that the game is poised for continued growth and innovation. With the rise of online platforms, chess has become more accessible than ever, attracting a diverse and global audience of players and enthusiasts. The integration of AI and advanced analytics is revolutionizing training and strategy, offering new insights and opportunities for players to better their skills. Additionally, initiatives aimed at promoting diversity and inclusion within the chess community are fostering a more welcoming and equitable environment for players of all backgrounds. As technology continues to evolve, and the game evolves with it, one thing remains certain: chess will continue to captivate and inspire for generations to come, offering endless possibilities for exploration, learning and enjoyment.